poker revolution is raging through Atlantic City here at the 2006 U.S. Poker Championship.
Nice!
This record field has been dominated by a new wave of poker prodigies. 22-year-old tournament leader Jordan Morgan and his 21-year-old rivals Alex Jacob.
I think you bluffed that card, though.
And Michael DiMichele are currently in command. Will youth be served, or are the lambs being led to slaughter? The action begins right now.
Is he really thinking about folding instead of queens?
The stakes have never been higher here in Atlantic City as the 2006 United States Poker Championship continues. Hello, everybody. I'm Lon McCarron along with Norman Chad. Only 2 tables left at this year's USPC. 18 players chasing a top prize of nearly $900,000. But let's be brutally honest, not all players have an equal chance of winning, especially when the short stacks are gazing up at the Mount Everest of chip stacks owned by our tournament leader, Jordan Morgan.
Lon, Jordan Morgan might be the model for the next generation of poker superstar. He's married, works out of his home, plays multiple hands on the computer, and has a world of poker experience. Of course, he's only 22 years old. And you know what's most impressive about Jordan? He's taken a lot of tough beats here at the USPC, and he handles it like he's going to the drugstore to pick up a prescription and they tell him it's not ready yet. No big deal. He'll just get it later, just like he'll get your chips later.
All right, let's meet some of the players who will be seated at our arena feature table.
I'm Jordan Morgan from Norman, Oklahoma.
Shane Shaniak Schlager from Manhattan, New York.
Friday Mike Santoro from Galloway, New Jersey.
Akio Ishige from New York.
So with just 2 tables remaining, we will ping-pong back and forth between this arena featured table and the Taj Poker Room featured table. Jordan Morgan, the only player over 1 million chips, leads the tournament. Second at this table, Shane Schlager under 300,000. How demoralizing is that, Norman?
It's a crusher. Morgan with almost as many chips as the rest of the players at this table combined. If you're one of these other players, you just want to stay out of Attila the Hun's way.
Well, Santoro will dip his toe into the pool with pocket deuce as he limps in. The blinds at 2,500 and 5,000. Still a 500 chip ante from each player. Action over to Harry White.
And Harry with the same plastic tip cigar from day 1 of this tournament. He just chews on it, says he never changes cigars in mid-tournament.
Well, he'll fold. Over to our dominating leader, Jordan Morgan, in the big blind with King 10. And he will check his options. So heads up, Santoro and Morgan. The flop is Queen 10 deuce. Santoro gets a 3rd deuce. Morgan paired his 10, and they both check. It's a 4 on the turn. That gives Santoro the check mark. His 3 deuces can't be beat.
Santoro still feeling the after effects of the hand he laid down against Jordan Morgan on our previous show when Santoro had Morgan dominated and Morgan pushed him all in. Remember, Santoro said, "You gave away your hand." Well, I don't know what he saw, but he doesn't ever want to see that again.
Morgan makes the call of 16,000, and these 2 will go to the river. It's another queen. Santoro with a full boat now.
Santoro has trapped Morgan here, so perhaps a little payback.
Morgan checks. Now, how much will Santoro bet? 30,000.
Boy, I thought Santoro might have overbet the size of the pot, made it look like a bluff, and then get more money out of Morgan.
Morgan called the 30,000. It's cheap for him, and Santoro will relish this moment, turning over the full boat against Jordan Morgan. Once over 600,000, he's now back to 300,000. Jordan Morgan still over 1 million chips. All right, let's go to the Taj Poker Room right now. Michael DiMichele on the left and Alex Jacob, the table leader right now. Jacob has been holding over DiMichele as of late. But action is on Stephen Faraka. He has 354,000 chips, and he is going to raise it up to 20,000 with Queen 10. Now Eric Cajolet with King Queen.
You know, Lana, I believe Cajolet's biceps have gotten larger since this tournament began.
He's got a lot of chips. He's been working it. He makes the call. And so these 2 go to the flop. That is Faraka's nickname, Nuts. And it's 10-8-8 on the flop. Faraka with a slim lead, pairing his 10. Cajolet has 4 diamonds.
50,000 to call.
Cajolet checked, and it's 50,000 chips from Faraka. Cajolet, who had a slim chip lead over Faraka before this hand began, raises it up to 150,000.
I'm all in.
100,000 more.
And Faraka moves all in.
Well, he doesn't have the nuts, but he's correct to push all in.
183? 83.5.
And he calls the 183,000 more. And so Faraka is all in.
And a king. King is live too.
Keep it clean.
And Cajolet here on the draw can knock out Faraka, but if Faraka's hand holds up, he will cripple Cajolet.
Turn card is a deuce. Faraka's hand holding up so far.
And Cajolet still on the draw. He needs a king or a diamond to eliminate Stephen Faraka.
River card is a 3 of clubs, and Faraka doubles up through Cajolet, and what a boost to Faraka. Now over 700,000 chips, second in this tournament right now. And Cajolet, as you mentioned, Norman, is crippled, 59,000 chips. So Faraka, a new force in this tournament. Now back to the arena feature table. Mike Santoro's already in the hand. He raised it to 17-5 with a weak ace. And now Akio Ishigi with his lucky Swedish jacket. Or maybe, Norman, it's the only one he brought.
I believe it's the only one he brought.
Ishigi has announced a raise. Those chips are the call of the 17,500. Now let's see how much he wants to push.
It's possible he'll take chips out of his jacket pocket.
He is going to raise 50,000 more. And Santoro immediately says re-raise.
Re-raise.
Santoro and Ishigi jousting here. And he goes all in.
Santoro pushing with the ace. This would put Ishigi all in if he calls.
Call.
And Ishigi does make the call with his final 126,000 chips. He'll put himself at risk. He'll be in a race against Santoro.
And Santoro gave Ishigi's cards the Ushka look. He was not happy with that call.
Over 257,000 chips in the pot. Ishigi all in. Here's the flop. 4, deuce, 8. A good flop for Santoro, as that missed Ishigi except for the 1 spade.
Santoro's been a little deflated as of late. This pot will really pick him up.
It's a 5. Ishigi comes up empty.
And Mike Santoro's ace high is still good at the moment. Ishigi would need a king or a jack on the river, or he is gone.
And now the river card. Oh, it's the king! And Ishigi with a pair of kings takes the pot and doubles up through Santoro.
And instead of inflating his chip stack, Mike Santoro does seem more deflated.
Ishigi stays alive and puts a dagger in Santoro.
That is so sick. I knew by what people said that you were behind in that hand.
Ishigi has put his money in bad before. He gets an unfriendly reminder from Mike Santoro.
So Ishigi stays alive. Back to the Taj poker room. Eric Cajolet on the right, considering his next move. There's been a raise of 17,000 by Dale Pinshot. Cajolet, as we just saw, was crippled by Stephen Faraka.
You see there on the left, Sean Chaconis with some chip tricks he's learned from his friend Antonio Esfandiari.
And now Cajolet moves all in with his final 55,000. That gets rid of a couple of players. So the re-raise back to Dale now.
Pinshot's been playing a pretty solid game. If he's considering a call here, he's probably got a pretty good hand.
Pinshot does make the call, so Cajolet's tournament life will be on the line. Sean Chaconis still to act.
Chaconis and Esfandiari have a running wager. Anytime either one of them drops the F-bomb or says the word bro during a tournament, he owes $1,000.
Chaconis folds, so Cajolet, the only one at risk. This is the degree all-in moment. The pocket kings of Cajolet leading the tens of Dale Pinshot.
So the Canadian pro is at risk, but a 4-to-1 favorite as we go to the flop.
And the flop is 8-5-6.
No diamond. I'll make it exciting, Jarvis.
Runner diamonds would give Dale Pinshot a flush.
No excitement. Nothing.
Cajolet in good shape right now with the kings.
All right, let's go to the turn with Cajolet at risk. 7 of spades. There's a straight draw on the board.
With a 4 on the river, they would chop the pot with an 8-high straight. But with a 9, Pinshot would have a 10-high straight, or with a 10, Pinshot would also knock out Cajolet.
It is a 10 on the river. Cajolet is gone. Pinshot earns the degree checkmark, spiking the set on the river.
And we haven't seen a lot of emotion from Pinshot, but that was a big come-from-behind rally to knock out the Canadian pro.
Cajolet had been a pretty steady player at this USPC. He'll earn almost $33,000. Dale Pinshot thrilled to still have his seat after knocking off Eric Cajolet.
I think I played a great tournament. It's not the way I wish ending, but I do my best. I think I play some good pokers and can control the card.
So the remaining players one step closer to the top prize of almost $900,000.
The Degree All-In Moment is brought to you by Degree. Protects men who take risks.
Welcome back. Time now for some more winning advice from our host, Donald Trump, in this installment of Trump's Power Tips.
When somebody challenges you, fight back. Don't let them push you around. Don't be a sucker. Fight back 10 times harder than they ever thought. Guess what? They'll never play games with you again.
I know I always fight back at the poker table, and then I'm punching in my PIN number at the ATM.
No kidding. Welcome back to the USPC in Atlantic City. Stephen Faraka has the chip lead at this table with 700,000. He is second overall to Jordan Morgan. Joseph Brooks right there with 132,000 chips, one of the shorter stacks left in this tournament. Action is on Brooks, and with a suited ace-9, he'll limp in with 6,000 chips. Faraka will fold, as does Chaconis. Action on Alex Jacob, second in chips at this table.
That's a tough corner down there with DiMichele and Jacob, both 21 years old, footloose, fancy-free, with chips to burn.
6-3 of diamonds for Jacob, and from the small blind, it's half price to play, so he's in. And from the big blind, Dale Pinshot with 7 deuce of hearts gets a free ride to the flop. So 3 players to the flop. It is 8-10-3. Jacob pairs his 3. Jacob and Brooks with a flush draw. Brooks with a nut flush draw.
And that flop is custom made for Alex to bet, pair and a flush draw. In fact, when he was at Yale, I think he audited a class called Bottom, Pair, and a Flush Draw.
9,000 is the bet. And Pinshot gets rid of his cards. Over to Joseph Brooks now.
Brooks a Jersey guy.
Got to make something happen, and he will hang around and make the call. So still a coin flip as these two go to the turn. It is an ace, and Brooks turns the ace to put a stronghold on this hand.
Yeah, Brooks in great position now. Top pair and nut flush draw.
After Jacob checked, Brooks comes out with 40,000. That's a lot of his remaining stack.
And now back to Alex Jacob. And Alex always looks like he's about to split the atom when all he's thinking about really is a check raise.
And indeed he does. He bets enough to put Brooks all in. And Brooks will move with his last 116,000, put himself at risk, but he's in good shape going to the river.
Alex sees what bad shape he's in. He'll need a 6 or a 3 to knock out Brooks.
It is a 7 of diamonds. Both get their flush, but Brooks with a nut flush wins the hand and doubles up just in the nick of time, now at 276,000, and a small stumble for Alex Jacob. Jacob's still over $500,000, but with some work to do to get back to this man, Jordan Morgan, the chip leader, over 1 million chips. With pocket kings, he's going to raise it up to 16,000. And Santoro is going to move all in with king-queen. Wow, these two going at it again.
It'll only be appropriate for Jordan Morgan to finish off Mike Santoro.
2 players behind Santoro fold, and Jordan Morgan turns over kings.
Oh my God! Does it get any worse?
That's all you thought about it.
Monster hand after monster hand after monster hand. Jeez.
Morgan's been in the middle of so many big hands here at the USPC. Right now, it is Karate Mike who is in dire straits.
So Morgan with a chance to knock off Santoro.
Diamonds, think diamonds.
Karate Mike needs help here. It is deuce 8-8, and that puts Santoro in a deeper hole.
2 8s. 2 8s out there and split it. It'd be fun.
They both have quad 8s with a king kicker then.
Queen, queen. Diamond, diamond. 8-8. He's got it pretty much figured out.
Yeah, he's got a case. That's what he's looking for.
All right, turn card. And 8, there's half a miracle.
Holy cow.
But it gives Morgan a full house.
8.
Well, the last 8 in the deck, if that's available, Santoro would live.
Don't sing, fat lady.
She's warming up.
He's looking for a split pot.
8 of spades, diamond. I prefer a diamond, actually.
Diamond and you lose. Yeah, the both doesn't work. Need the 8 of spades and the 8 of spades alone. Did anyone fold the 8 of spades, maybe?
I mean, a diamond won't work for me.
Santoro's momentarily confused even more than me. He needs the 8.
It's a 6 of spades. Not to be for Karate Mike. And he is done in by the man who heard him earlier on. Jordan Morgan, the chip leader, gets stronger. And Mike Santoro will earn almost $33,000 as he makes his exit.
And he was in great shape for most of this tournament, and as often happens, a fast decline.
And the rest of Santoro's chips go to our chip leader, Jordan Morgan, as Santoro hits the rail.
It's just one bad thing after another today. So the start of the day was great. I went from 390 to 616 or 618,000, and you know, out the door at 6:30.
So Karate Mike's chance for back-to-back final tables here comes to an end. Welcome back to the 2006 United States Poker Championship with 16 players left. This one is still Jordan Morgan's to lose, over 1.3 million chips. As Shigi folds, action to Dylan Membrino.
Membrino, an engineering major at Drexel. He was on the 5-year plan, says he's now on the 6-year plan. He needs 20 credits to graduate. Lon and I both know the last 20 are the hardest to get.
The last 4 for me, still waiting. Membrino raised it to 18,000 with ace-9 on Harry White with pocket kings.
Harry says he doesn't play garbage. Pocket kings ain't garbage.
Well, John, it's been fun playing cards with you, but it's time to wheel it in.
And that's a good move with pocket kings all in. Morgan gets out of the way over to Jeff King.
I'll go home 60.
He and Schlager don't want any part of that.
Harry's quite superstitious. He's had a cheesesteak and onion rings every night for dinner here.
Action back to Membrino.
I might as well give you my chips, my friend.
I don't think I'm going to get them, though. That's the problem.
Indeed, Membrino knows Harry doesn't play garbage. Boy, that cigar is going to need some scotch tape soon.
Membrino will make the call and find out he's in trouble.
Keep him low, dealer. Keep him low. Come on.
I think Membrino already regrets that call.
Keep him low.
So Harry White all in.
Keep him low.
But he's got his pocket kings.
Come on, 3 of you guys tell me you threw an ace out.
I had to priced in. I have an ace. I have one over.
Membrino will be looking for an ace.
How can you call with that hand?
You asked him to.
Oh,
You said he's
okay.
priced in.
I know.
You sold him. Like
He knew I had a big hand, though.
I think he's in the market
Yeah.
for some wheels, too.
That's okay.
Now the flop. It is Queen, Jack, 8, and Membrino picks up a straight draw.
Yeah, 10 would now be good for Membrino. Make that straight. And he's still looking maybe for an ace to take the
Be
lead.
clean low.
It's a 6, and that's a blank as far as Membrino is concerned.
So Membrino
Deuce
will
clubs.
need a 10 for a straight or an ace on the river to send Harry White home.
Deuce clubs.
River is another 6, and Harry White stays alive, doubling up.
Thank you, everybody, thank you.
Dylan Membrino takes a hit to his stack.
Kings for the Cowboy. Yeah.
All right, let's get back to the Taj Poker Room feature table. The short stack in this room is that man, Sean Chaconis. He is all in with ace-9. Stephen Faraka with a suited 8-4, considering the call.
A very modest hand. This would only cost Faraka about 10% of his chips.
I gotta call you.
And he says, I gotta call you. So he does with a suited 8-4.
Chaconis studied acting at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts in London, and then he wound up on The Guiding Light. So he went from Chekhov to soap operas.
That's why they call him Hollywood. Chaconis at risk now.
Chaconis not real happy with that call, but as I said, not many chips for Faraka to come on in.
You like that hand? I like it, too. But you never know.
Well, 2 live cards for Faraka.
One time, buddy.
Chaconis in the lead, but he wants to get stronger. Here's the flop. It is 6, 10, 7, no spades. Both players with straight draws.
Ace high still good for Chaconis.
Get a pair. Pair to 8. Pair to 8.
Give him a 9.
Pair to 8. Give him his 8. I mean, deuce.
A deuce on the turn. Chaconis still good.
But Chaconis cannot shake Faraka yet.
Ace. King. No 4.
Faraka can still knock out Chaconis, a 5 or a 9 on the river for a straight, or a 4.
River is a 6, and Chaconis hangs in there and doubles up. Stephen Faraka took a flyer, making the call with 8-4 suited, and he pays off Sean Chaconis. Back now to the arena featured table. An action on Shane Schlager with ace-king. He's going to raise the action up to 21,000. Ishigi folds now on Dylan Membrino with ace-8. And he's going to move all in with ace-8.
Dylan going to play another weak ace, and he's not going to like it again.
And Schlager makes the immediate call to put Membrino at risk.
You know, Lon, one of the features of a poker room is you can be whoever you want to be, but would it kill these guys to pick up a shit quattro?
All right, here we go to the flop. It is 9 ace jack. Membrino wishing he had the ace-9 now.
Membrino looking for a runner straight or that 8 to pair, his best hope.
Turn card now is a 7, and Membrino gets closer to that straight.
Does he need a 10 or an 8?
Shane is right. 10 or an 8. Membrino can stay alive only with a 10 or an 8.
River card is a 9. Schlager wins the pot, and in the process knocks off Dylan Membrino.
I have myself to blame for this one.
Membrino made a nice run, but goes out in 16th place. And Shane Schlager, who can be a very dangerous player, gathers the rest of Membrino's chips, now over 400,000 chips.
I think I should have been more patient today. I think I was very patient throughout the whole tournament, played very good, and I don't know, for some reason I just decided to be impatient today, and it cost me.
Welcome back to the 2006 United States Poker Championship. Back in the Taj Poker Room, another elimination brewing. Joseph Brooks looking pained, and with good reason. His pocket jacks are all in against Stephen Faraka's pocket queens after the flop. The turn is another heart. Brooks now with a flush draw.
Brooks still looking for a third jack or a heart on the river, or he is eliminated.
River card is a 4 of spades, not good enough, and Joseph Brooks is eliminated in 15th place by Stephen Faraka.
And Faraka, the semi-retired builder from New York's making some noise.
And Joseph Brooks makes his rounds of congratulations here in the Taj Poker Room. As he says goodbye, he'll win almost $33,000.
You know, Steve Michelle was the only one who didn't hug Brooks. I think he knows something.
Well, as you indicated, he's the only one with an iron shirt. Doesn't want to ruin it.
What do they say about this game? It's a really easy way to make a living?
Hard living. It's an easy way. It's an easy way to make a hard living.
You got it right. That's
No,
right.
a hard way to make an easy living.
Well, same thing. You know, you guys know. It's a hard way to make an easy living, right?
It's a hard way to make easy living.
That's it.
So now I need a dictionary to translate to Spanish.
Back in the arena, there has been no easy living for Shane Schlager, who can't get in a hand without being re-raised. A few hands back, Schlager bet 21,000 with ace-10 of spades. Immediately, Dan Chack came in with pocket jacks and went right over the top, and that forced Schlager to fold.
Yeah, that had me pretty good.
And Dan's poker-playing wife, Beth, happy with that development.
A short while later, Schlager had king 10 offsuit. He bet 23,000, and Mark Ader came over the top. Schlager again folded.
And Schlager makes another wife happy, this time Kathleen Ader.
A short while later, it was a weak ace that had Schlager betting 24,000. Ishigi made it 94,000, and again, Schlager was forced to fold.
Undoubtedly, Shane frustrated every time he raises. Someone comes up over the top of him. He has mucked each time correctly with the weaker hand.
So a rocky road for Schlager here, but one that might make for good fodder in Shane's other career pursuit as an online chronicler of the intriguing life of a professional poker player.
When people ask me what I write, I tell them I write first-person accounts of my misadventures. You know, with my poker career sort of starting to come together, I've been on the road about 2 years. I decided to try to get my writing game back into shape by starting a blog called You Can't Miss What You Can't Measure, named after a Funkadelic song. What interests me is the sort of fabric of what goes on tour. It's not like you're traveling around following the Grateful Dead. It's like you're traveling around playing $10,000 poker events, and the sort of contrast between, you know, the friendships and the society that forms with the traveling contrasted with the gambling that's going on definitely creates an interesting dynamic. You know, I'm hoping that I'll be able to parlay the discipline I've learned through poker with some of my early creative ambitions and see where that takes me.
Back at the Taj Arena, Schlegel in a familiar position. He raised with ace-9, and Mark Ader came over the top all in with pocket sevens. So another tough decision for Schlegel.
Well, besides writing before poker, Schlegel said he had a bunch of crappy office jobs, plus he worked as a waiter and a bike messenger. All that might seem like better work at the moment than poker as he mucks another hand.
Wow, and he was in a coin flip, but would have cost him most of his stack had he lost. Mark Ader once again forces a fold from Schlegel, and that's happy news for his wife, Kathleen. Back out to the Taj Poker Room, and we see Syracuse Chris Sipralidis with ace-king. Alex Jacobs already in the hand with pocket queens.
I'm all in.
And Syracuse Chris moves all in.
Now, he's been stuck in neutral for quite a while.
166,000 chips from Syracuse Chris.
Like the old days. I got a bigger hand than back then.
Like the old days, Alex is 21. The old days is like an hour and a half ago.
Syracuse Chris now will stand to sweat out Alex's decision.
Yeah, I gotta call it.
Alex Jacob, of course, with the queens, will make the call.
Yeah, 2 queens. That's good.
Wow. And he'll see 2 overcards, but the queens will have the lead.
You know, Alex would be a terrible bounty hunter because every time he caught the guy, he'd just feel really bad.
It was either that or 2 jacks.
So Syracuse Chris Sipralidis, a very likable player at all these tournaments, all in. Here we go to the flop. The flop is 8-8-7. Jacob still leads with those queens.
And Syracuse Chris knows his exit is imminent unless he can spike an ace or a king here.
2 chances for that. Now the turn card, 4 of diamonds. That's a blank.
And Chris now down possibly to his last card. He needs an ace or a king or he is done.
And now the river card. It is a 10. That's the end of Syracuse Chris.
You got mine now, buddy. What can I do, you know? Good luck, guys. You got it's nothing you can do. You got to play.
So the last remaining World Series bracelet winner left in the field says goodbye to this USPC. Alex Jacob now at 620,000 chips after sending Syracuse Chris out the door.
These young kids, it's very difficult to read them a lot of times, but, you know, they're very aggressive and they got no fear, so it's not like it used to be, let's put it that way.
Back in Atlantic City, our march to the USPC final table continues. Here at the Taj Poker Room, Stephen Faraka has the best chip stack with 843,000. Action on Dale Pin Shot, he has 263,000 and pocket sevens.
Pin Shot, a real estate investor, another East Coast guy who prefers stud but switched to No Limit Hold'em because that's where the poker money went.
And with his sevens, he'll make a raise to 25,000. Faraka is in with his King 10. Sean Chaconis has 112,000 chips, and he's going to move them all into the pot with pocket aces. And that forces Alex Jacob to fold. The action with the re-raise now back to Dale Pin Shot.
4-pin shot. This would be for almost half of his remaining chips. He says that internet guys are easy to read. The problem for him, though, is that Chaconis is a former actor. Much more problematic figuring out those guys.
And Pin Shot gives up his pocket sevens.
You started this masturbation.
So back to Faraka now, top stack here.
87, boss.
It would cost him 87,000 more. Faraka's wife, Robin, doesn't want him to give up any more chips unnecessarily.
It would be for about 10 or 15% of his chip stack. He recently doubled up Chaconis. You don't want to do another courtesy double up. The short stack will become a lot stronger, and eventually you do that too often, and you're the short stack. Meanwhile, Chaconis now, the former actor, playing the deep, dark, moody villain.
Faraka with a suited king.
I call.
Makes the call.
Have a showdown.
Oh, God.
And immediately Faraka wishes he could take it back.
Aces, kid. Right in time, Mush.
So Sean Chaconis getting aces indeed in the nick of time.
Great.
And Chaconis in great shape again, all in against Faraka. A 4-to-1 favorite here.
Last time I saw this, it came King, King 10. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's all good as long as King, King 10 doesn't come out on the flop.
It's 80,000 more. I got to...
Yeah, it was a tough decision, but not that much more of his stack. Faraka trying to rationalize his call. Now the flop It is Queen 8 ace, a set for Chaconas, but a straight draw for Faraca.
They're the board.
Indeed, a jack now, Faraca's best hope.
There comes the turn.
Turn card is a blank. Chaconas still good.
Low and away, please. I can't even look.
This is for all of Chaconas' chips.
Chaconas playful on death row. Faraca needs a jack to eliminate him.
River card is another queen, and Chaconas wins it with a full house.
Ace is full.
So Faraca allows Chaconas to double up through him again.
It seems that every time Chaconas is low on funds, he gets a withdrawal from the First National Bank of Stephen Faraca.
All right, from the Taj Poker Room, let's go back to the arena. Jordan Morgan still leading the way. Over 1.3 million. Harry White is the short stack with 71,000. And it's pocket queens for Akio Ishigi.
Raise.
Ishigi says raise, and one yellow chip means 25,000. That's to Mark Ader now.
Ader's wife, Kathleen, came in this morning to support him from Detroit. She prefers when he plays online because, unlike my marriages, she's happier when he's home.
All right, Mark Ader now considering the raise from Ishigi, who's been known to play some iffy cards. Ader will make the call with pocket nines. Now to the short stack, Harry White. Shaking his head again, and the cards do go into the muck. A suited 9-4 from the button for our dominating chip leader, Jordan Morgan. Ishigi in with his queens. Ader in with his nines. And Jordan Morgan's going to be a button bully and make it a raise to 125,000.
Well, I guess he senses weakness around the rest of the table. And that is now a pretty sweet spot for Ishigi. He's in great position here.
One more in.
Ishigi does move all in. It's 127,000. Ader hates to give up the nines, but he'll fold. And just 2,000 more for Morgan.
So Jordan made a play. Ishigi had a hand. And now Jordan needs to get very lucky to knock Ishigi out of this tournament.
Well, it's just about 10% of Jordan Morgan's stack, but you don't want to give any of your chips away at this stage and make any of the players healthier, as you've mentioned, Norman. Now to the flop. It is 6-10-6. No help to Morgan.
Ishigi still standing tall with his pocket queens.
It looks scary.
It's not that scary. You're standing tall, son.
Turn card is a 3 of clubs, and that's going to do it. Jordan Morgan is drawing dead. Ishigi gets the check mark, and he does double up. Ishigi now with 297,000 chips.
What is that? The mating call of the wildebeest?
Back out to the Taj Poker Room, and Dale Pinchot has raised the action again with pocket nines to 34,000. Augustine Mendez made the call with king queen. Here we go to the flop. It is ace king king. Mendez with trips, and that all but closes Pinchot out.
Pinchot with kings up right now. That's barely in the same solar system as Mendez's hand.
Pinchot checks over to Mendez, and he checks.
And Mendez slow plays behind him.
It's another ace, and now a full boat for Mendez.
Pinchot first to act.
I'm all in.
He moves all in.
All but drawing dead, and he goes all in.
I don't know why I give you a free card.
And Mendez gives it up with that board of aces and kings.
Boy, Mendez put Pinchot on an ace and gave up the winning hand.
Mendez drops to 277,000, and with that gutsy move, Dale Pinchot moves up to 229,000.
Well, Pinchot knows his USPC should be over.
Showing some heart, Pinchot keeps his seat. Back at the Taj in a battle of the blinds. Each player with a pair of kings. Sean Chaconas with a weak kicker with a 3. He trails Michael DiMichele, who's got a jack kicker.
Chaconas saw Gus Hansen win a WPT event and told himself, I can do this. So he went to Las Vegas, won $1,500 the first night, but then he started to lose, and he realized that every time he was walking to a card room, they would call him over because he was the fish.
Wow. That's why I get invited to so many poker parties.
You're the most popular man in America live.
Chaconas checked after the flop. DiMichele comes out with 40,000 with his better kicker. DiMichele trying to reverse a streak of bad luck that he has been on lately. And now Chaconas lining up some of those big yellow chips, and he's going to re-raise to 150,000.
Tells you why he used to be the fish. He's in a bad spot, and he has raised DiMichele.
DiMichele doesn't know what to think because he's been caught a number of times. Players coming from behind to beat him. Now with the best hand.
Mullen.
Now with the best hand.
Mullen.
He moves all in.
And a good read from DiMichele. He's had a tournament of good reads, just some bad luck here and there.
That's a good sign.
This would be for all of Chaconas' chips again.
And if he wants to stick around here longer, this is not a good all-in call to make.
I call.
And he does make the call, feeling pot committed. And Chaconas sees he's in a world of hurt.
Yeah, that's too short to fold it.
Well, he's going to be so short in a moment, he's going to have no chips.
Yeah.
DiMichele, a big favorite to knock out Sean Chaconas.
Turn card now is a queen that misses Chaconas but gives DiMichele a straight
No 9
draw.
or 6. No 9, no 6, no 3.
With a 9 or a 6, we'd have a split pot. With a 3, Chaconas takes it all. Otherwise, he's done.
River card. Oh, he got a split pot. Chaconas is still alive. DiMichele cannot catch a break.
Hollywood keeps writing himself a winning script. And DiMichele again is crushed.
No. Kings of sixes. Some call it talent. Some call it skill, but most they call me lucky. They call me lucky.
He'll take the luck wherever he can get it. Chaconas still with us. All right, back to the arena table. Harry White on the button and short stack. Moves all in for his final 45,000 with an offsuit Jack 8.
Harry could have seen another 4 hands for free before the blinds came around, but he's decided to make his move from the button here with that suspect Jack 8.
You saw the top stack Jordan Morgan with over 1 million chips fold his cards. Now over to Jeff King in the big blind with a more modest chip stack of 362,000, considering the call.
The man has a hand.
And he will make the call with a Queen Jack and put Harry White at risk.
You wish you had more chips.
Harry White sells antiques. He also buys and sells houses. Right now, he'd like to sell his hand and buy a better one.
Indeed. And Harry White already packing up and getting ready to move.
You know how bad traffic gets late. Afternoon, early evening here in the city.
All right, so Harry White.
Boy, he's put away his cigar. He really has no confidence in this one.
He is serious about getting out of here in a hurry. Here's our flop now. It is 10 deuce ace. King picks up a straight draw. White in deep trouble.
Runner, runner, harder an 8.
Put the king up.
Runner, runner, harder an 8.
King of spades, then we can chop it.
It is a king.
That's scary. That gives Jeff King Broadway. And now Harry White can only stay alive here with a queen on the river. It also give him an ace-high straight. Otherwise, he is done.
River card is a 7, and Harry is done. Jeff King wins the hand with Broadway. Harry White is knocked out.
I do not believe that bag will clear customs.
White made a final table at the World Series circuit earlier this year, but falls just short of making the final table here at the USPC, done in by Jeff King. Let's go back now to the Taj Poker Room. Sean Chaconas raised it up to 32,000 with an offsuit ace-queen. Michael DiMichele will re-raise to 130 with king-queen. Alex Jacob folds, and now back to Chaconas, and he moves all in.
How much more?
And once again, he'll put Michael DiMichele to the test.
Man, now I better get the bad beat.
Now Michael figures he's behind, and he is.
Call.
But he will put in the 126,000 more to make the call.
Yeah, baby. Got him buried.
Chaconas is the one all in, but he's got the 3-1 advantage.
All right. I'm ready. I'm waiting.
DiMichele has had rotten luck down the stretch against first Alex Jacob and now against Chaconas recently. This time, he's going to need some good luck.
If it doesn't,
or he'll lose most of his chips, and Chaconas will double up.
All right, here we go to the flop. Chaconas all in. The flop is 5-5-6, and that keeps Chaconas in control.
Yeah, nothing good there for DiMichele. Son, my mother told me that if you keep shaking your head like that, you'll do it for the rest of your life without knowing it. Pick up your spirits.
Turn card. Well, that'll do it. DiMichele gets his king.
It's cool, bro.
Oh, and now it's all but over for Sean Chaconas.
I didn't open my mouth. I said if he gets it. I said if he gets it, he deserves it.
All but over.
Yeah, what do you mean open my mouth?
Chaconas is now dead to an ace. Only an ace would keep Sean Chaconas' USPC hopes alive.
DiMichele with a chance to rid the table of the stubborn Chaconas, and he does. It's a jack. Sean Chaconas is gone from this USPC. Michael DiMichele back to his winning ways. One more to go before we have our final table.
I love this. I love the structure. It was definitely odd that we didn't have Annie till the 7th level, but I think that favors the stronger players. Personally, you get more play. So there was tons of play in the tournament. I love the structure. I mean, I'll be back next year.
Welcome back to the Trump Taj Mahal. One more player to be knocked off before we have our final table cast of 10, and two of the young guns in the Taj Poker Room sharing some thoughts.
I guess it wouldn't hurt to tell you now that we played so much that I'm also from that site, which is why I know so much about it. Oh, you so you found out?
Yeah, I knew.
Beforehand? Oh, you were like, it's not like you knew nothing about me at all.
Of course Alex knew, man. He watched Columbo on TV Land. He knows how to scope things out.
It'd be pretty cool if we had 3 people from there at the final table. I don't think that's ever happened before.
Yeah, why don't we have all online people at every live final table? Just put me 6 feet under right now.
And they could just do it with computers. And no. All right, action continues now on Alex Jacob. 10-4 offsuit. Go into the muck. He'll be on the sidelines for this hand. Next in line, Dale Pinshot, still alive, but the short stack.
And he's the one who should be 6 feet under. As you remember, he went all in against Kings full, and Mendez mucked it. He's living a second life here.
But again, he will watch. Mendez folds as well. Over to our top dog at this table, Stephen Faraka. Faraka will be in the hand. He has a suited 8-7, one of my favorite hands. He raises it up to 45,000. 45?
Yeah.
Action around to DiMichele. Michael had been on an unlucky streak, but picked up a lot of chips in his knockoff of Sean Chaconas. And DiMichele with a suited Jack-5 will make the call. So two of the bigger stacks going heads up to the flop. And the flop is 5, King 3. DiMichele with a pair of 5s and a flush draw. Faraka got nothing, but he's going to bet 75,000 with the bluff.
Faraka, not an internet guy, but he's showing an aggressive internet move right there. And maybe he figures, you know, it's like in basketball. Teams that press don't like to be pressed. So maybe this is how you manhandle the online punks. You get hyper-aggressive against them.
Let's see if it works.
Take that, you teen idol.
DiMichele with just a pair of 5s. Take that, non-internet guy. 150,000 more back to Faraka.
Okay, that backfired. Then an easy fold for Faraka. It's the old poker 101. You bluff, and if they come back over the top of you, you go.
More.
You go.
You got a king?
If your hat says nuts, it would help if you had the nuts once in a while. Faraka's sitting there with nothing.
What he just told DiMichele, though, is he doesn't have the king.
But I don't know what we're thinking about here. What's the board, Lon?
The board is 5, King 3.
What's Faraka's cards?
8-7.
They don't work together, do they?
Not in the least.
You've got nothing. You've got squadouche.
And the big stack finally kicks it in. Michael DiMichele back to his winning ways. Faraka no longer rules this roost. DiMichele's top dog at this table and second only to Jordan Morgan in the tournament. Back to the arena featured table, Akio Ishigi. With a lot of chips suddenly. We saw him down to the felt a number of times in this tournament. He's going to raise it up to 30,000 with ace-queen. Mark Ader with pocket 4s. Uh-oh. He's moving all in, 166,000 with those 4s. So the re-raise back to Ishigi once a count.
He actually won 3 World Series seats on an online site, and they allowed him to switch one of the seats to the USPC.
Okay. Call.
Akio makes the call with 136,000 more, and Ader at risk in a coin flip. And his wife, Kathleen, looking very anxious.
And Ader giving her the universal coin flip sign.
She is a former Miss Teen Michigan, and she's a current cheerleading coach, and she needs to cheerlead her husband on to a victory here. Mark is in the lead right now with pocket 4s, but just barely. Here's the flop. And a queen in the window as Ishigi pairs his queen.
And that pushes Ader to the brink. He's going to need runner for a straight, or he's going to need a 4, or he's out before the final table.
One player to go before we have our final table. A jack is no help to Ader. 1 card from elimination now.
And Ader seems resigned to his fate there with a smile. Mark Ader is going to need a 4 and a 4 only, or our final table is set.
River card is a deuce, and Ader is gone in 11th place. Hail Sweden! Akio Ishigi has made the final table, and almost $33,000 for Ader's 11th place.
So Ader, a nice run, but he's one internet specialist who won't make the final table.
Down to our final 10, Jordan Morgan with a commanding lead, but Michael DiMichele and Stephen Faraka are in position to challenge for this championship. We'll call it a night for now, with the winners and losers going their separate ways.
There, it ain't a blunt either, it's a real cigar. It's a little chewed up on the end. I've been chewing on it for 4 days. I was hoping to be chewing on it tomorrow. Yep, sorry, people. I appreciate you, audience. Thank you, ESPN. You're the greatest. Good night, Whitey. Yep, thank you.
That's weird. For Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran. Next time, the final table from the 2006 USPC.